Hey everyone, welcome into the first episode of AMA, Ask Me Anything, from StepsToVoiceOverSuccess.com. Look, my name is Earl Hall. I'm your host today. If you're a voiceover artist, you're stuck, struggling, not quite sure what to do next or how to even get started, this is definitely the YouTube channel you want to make sure that you subscribe to. You can do that right here while you're watching. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. Make sure you tick the bell so that you know when I go live or when I upload new videos. Every Saturday, I come to you now. This is the first one we're doing, but every Saturday, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, we're going to come and do this live broadcast. Hey, what's up, Kenny? Glad to have you in here on the show, my friend. Thank you for being here with me this morning. Look, we're going to be coming every Saturday, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, so that I can answer your questions. We're going to do maybe sometimes a little bit of training like I'm going to do today, but also to focus in on the questions that you have. There are so many things that a brand new voiceover artist just needs to know and understand. And here's my thing. I think we're just overcomplicating the entire process. Good morning, Melissa. Glad to have you in here. One of my mastermind students in the house. Thank you so much, Melissa, for being here with me this morning. Look, today is going to be a busy day for me, and I'm going to get into why that's going to be later on in this broadcast. But again, make sure that when you come every Saturday, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, you come with your questions ready to go. What's up, Daniel? Another one of my mastermind students. Welcome into the broadcast, my friend. Thank you for being here this morning. We also got Tamesia. I hope I pronounced that right, Tamesia. Or is it Tamisha? One or the other. But thank you so much for being here with us today on the live broadcast. Something very interesting happened on yesterday. I tried something new on my Instagram page, and I put up what's called an infographic, where I kind of go through some things and explain some things. And we're kind of going to get into that a little bit today, and I'll throw up a graphic on that. Basically, it's all about voiceover made simple, a cheat sheet. I'm going to be releasing these infographics a couple of times a week with training and things of that nature. So you want to make sure that you're following me over here on my Instagram page at Earl Hall Studio so that you can get these pages. Now, the reason that I did this particular infographic again is because so many times I see voiceover artists just really doing way too much. Tamisha. Okay, Tamisha said it's the second pronunciation. Tamisha. Now I got it. All right, great. Thank you so much for being here. Look, you're doing too much. When it comes down to selecting your gear, microphone selection, audio, just all of your audio gear, but especially when it comes to audio production, you're doing way too much. Thanks, Melissa. I saw your comment on that infographic that I made on Instagram. So again, if you're not following me on Instagram, in order to get these, you're going to want to make sure that you go ahead and go over there and subscribe to or follow me on Instagram at Earl Hall Studio. So let's kind of go through the infographic here. And please, if you've got questions, feel free to put them up. So I'm going to be producing these infographics to kind of help out. And this first one that I made, and it's all about VO, I'm just going to call it VO Simplified, is what I'm going to start using that hashtag, VO Simplified, because I want to make this extremely easy, because it is easy. And we're overcomplicating this process way too much. All right, so what's the next slide here that we got? All right, after you decide to get serious about voiceover. So what are the things that you actually need to start doing? Now, there are some things that you simply are just going to have to understand. So I'm going to start throwing these up a little bit faster. Number one, you need to understand that your recording space is the most important part of your chain. Soft surfaces only, no hard, flat surfaces. Now, this is important about the no hard flat surfaces, because that's why you're getting echo. That's why you sound like you're in a tin can. That's why the audio isn't pristine, because what happens when you have hard flat surfaces all around, your voice is bouncing off of the wall. Like I'm right now, not in an ideal space to do a recording. I'm in a very open space. There are no soft surfaces around. It's all flat, very open and airy space that I'm in. And You don't want to be in a space like that in order to record some pristine audio. And you don't have to do that much. We're talking about something as simple as if I go back to my first days on YouTube, when I started sharing my journey 5-6 years ago, you saw that I had blankets all around me. Go back and watch some of my earlier YouTube stuff. You'll see, I had some ugly gold and purple blankets. Then I think one Father's Day, my wife and kids got me all black comforters and blankets to put around, comforters, because it got that little, comforters are kind of thick or whatever. And so it absorbed sound. You can even get cargo blankets, moving blankets, those types of things to hang around you, and it will completely make your space dead. And yeah, that's kind of what we call it. You want a dead space where there is no reverberation of sound, echo, sound waves aren't bouncing off the wall. It is one of the easiest things to do to make sure that you have an ideal recording space. So what's the next thing here? 2, this is big, right? So spending thousands of dollars on microphones and things of that nature is not necessary. When you look at folks like me, other folks that are out there like a Bill DeWeese, a lot of us started off with like $50 USB microphones, right? And we started making money. And the thing about that is that if you can't make money on a $100 microphone, you're not going to make money with a $1,000 microphone. The microphone is not the thing. The microphone is a tool that you use so that you can record your voice, flat out, period. And going back to what I said on the last slide, the most important thing is that you're in a recording space that is dead. It does not allow sound to bounce off of walls and go back into your microphone, because that's what's happening with so many of the different recordings that I hear from people that send me recordings. It's like, where are you recording this at? The most important part of your chain is your environment. If that part of the chain is not right, I don't care if you're using a Neumann TLM-103. I don't care if you're using something from Universal Audio as far as the interface. That's another $1,000 interface, which is great, by the way. But I don't care if you're using all this great stuff, the best DAW you can find, whatever that is. If your recording space is not right, nothing else matters. And the recording space is probably one of the least expensive things that you have to invest in. Then we get into the other pieces of gear. So you want to start out with a mic that costs somewhere between $150 to $300, right? This little mic, and I have this, actually it's still attached, so I have to unattach it. This little mic here, it's a shotgun mic. Let me take this graphic down so you can actually see it. It's a shotgun mic from Synco. I have this, and links are in the description if you want to see how to get this mic. It's under $300. It's a shotgun mic. People have been comparing this to the Sennheiser MKH416. I mean, big boys that you see on YouTube, guys that are serious about, ladies and gentlemen that are serious about their sound, are talking about this microphone. This is my VO mic. This is it. Under $300. And I have owned a Neumann TLM-103. I have owned the Sennheiser MKH416. But I will recommend this mic till the day that I die. The Synco Mic D2. You can look in my store on Amazon, probably get some sort of discount on that by going through my store. You want to start off with a mic under $300 that you will never have to replace. It's this one. That's my humble opinion as a VO professional. Now, the thing about mic selection is obviously you do have to go with a mic that sounds good on your voice. So you may have to go through a couple of iterations to find that one that's really sweet for you. The Synco has been really sweet for me and a lot of other professional VOs that are out there. Yeah, thanks, Melissa. Melissa's saying it's an amazing mic. He's not lying. Melissa, I'll send you your check in the mail for saying that. Thank you so much. Now, so what's the next thing that we need to be looking at here? All right, your audio interface. Dan is saying what cuts out side noise. Exactly. Shotgun mics, that's exactly what they're for. Because, all right, the thing about a shotgun mic, as opposed to like a condenser microphone with a big element in the middle, condenser mics are made to pick up everything. this endpoint is the element that you're talking to. This small surface, that's it. It's not some sort of big element that's trying to pick up. This is trying to cancel out noise. This is trying to make sure that no other noise comes in. So you use this in conjunction with a pristine, an ideal recording space with soft surfaces only, it's money. It's just money. All right, so having an audio interface of around 100 to 200 is perfect. Everyone's familiar with like the Scarlett Solo or the Scarlett 2i2, the Presonus. I actually use a Presonus. I gave my Solo, Scarlett Right Solo to my son. He's a gamer and loves gaming and he wanted a big boy mic or whatever. So I gave him actually a condenser mic. So he's got his headphones on, he's got his condenser mic and, and everybody's like, how do you sound so good playing Call of Duty and all that kind of stuff? But an audio interface is nothing more than something that's needed to connect your microphone to your computer. That's it. All of them pretty much are USB. All of them are able to have phantom power in case you're using a condenser mic. Obviously, if you're using a dynamic mic like the one I'm using right now, a Shure SM7B, you don't need phantom power. So all of the audio interfaces come with that ability to have phantom power, right? So if you need it, you need it. If you don't, you don't. All it is a little button and it has a little red light or whatever that'll come on to show you that it is active. Okay, so what's the next thing? If you really want to start getting fancy, this little piece of gear, the DBX286S, I'm just going to flat out say is a must. This, coupled with a great microphone, a decent audio interface for $100, which you can get most for, especially the Scarlett Solo, you can get it for $100 out of my Amazon store. You couple that with this little piece of gear, what this DBX286S does, it allows you to create pristine audio before it even hits your DAW. It allows you to set up a noise gate so that you can cancel out any sort of background noise that may be coming in. It allows you to set up your de-esser so that you can take out that sibilance when you say S words. It allows you to add just the right amount of compression. All of these things are done right in this little unit for under $200. Okay? This little unit, these simple things that I'm showing you, this is why I'm calling this VO Simplified. These little simple things that is not going to break the bank. Everything that I've shown you, that I've put up on the screen, we're talking right at $500. That's it. This is not something that you have to dive deep into your pockets for in order to make it happen. Now, the reason why you may want to start interjecting things like a DBX286 is just going to depend on your environment. I'm going to give you this little tip. And I've been saying this a lot now. When you're talking about how to set things up, whether it's your interface, whether it's a DBX286S, even going into settings into your DAW and watching YouTube videos on how people are doing it, those are good baseline things, but they don't amount to a hill of beans when it comes to what you and how you should set it up. You've got to, maybe take a baseline from what people like me are telling you on YouTube, but then you got to dial that in for your environment, for your microphone, for your DAW. You've got to dial those things in. So be careful when you're watching YouTube videos, mine included, that give you settings because they're baseline settings only. And they sound that good because it's in my environment, it's on my microphone, it's with my voice. Those are the things that you have to check when you're trying to set these things up yourself as well. Now, let's get into some DAW stuff because this is it. All these things that I'm showing you right here is VO Simplified stuff. When you get into your DAW, these are the only two plugins that I use from Waves. If you want 10% off of your Waves plugins, just click the link in my description. I'll give you 10% off of any Waves plugins. These two Waves plugins to me, for my voice, are a must. It is the Waves Deep Breath, the Deep Breath Mono, because it takes out your breaths automatically. It recognizes the breath and it removes the breath from your audio. It's magic. It works flawlessly and perfectly on any DAW that you use. It is the one thing that cut down my production time because I didn't have to go in there and take out my breaths or reduce the sound of the breaths or all that other stuff. Waves just did it for me. You can watch a ton of videos on YouTube about how to use Waves, right? I'll probably be making some myself. Actually, I have made some on the Waves plugins. The other one is the Chris Lord Age. I don't know if I'm pronouncing his last name right, but it's the CL. It's basically CL. You can find all of this at waves.com. And again, if you want 10% off of your Waves, any Waves plugin, you can go ahead and get that. But the Chris Lord plugin here is what I use to add more compression if I want, to add more bass, to add more treble, choose my output. I can add some other effects. There's a couple of buttons I don't use. The first 3 buttons on the right of this plugin, I don't even use. I only use the 3 buttons on the left, and dials in my audio like a freaking champ. It's something worth looking at because you're going around, you're trying to take out breaths, you're trying to take out noise, and all these things can be eliminated before they hit your DAW. And the things that I've shown you today are those things that can help you eliminate that. By the way, if you've got questions, you can go ahead and type them in as well, and we can take your questions here live. And by the way, if you're here live and you haven't given me a shout out, go ahead and give me a shout out. And also, if you're watching me live right now, go ahead and type in #live. Just type in #live so that I know you're here live. And then also, if you happen to be watching the replay, go ahead and type in #replay. All right, so the number of things you do to create great voiceover is not in how complicated you make it. Simplicity is the key. I've gone through some steps here. I've gone through some things here with you this morning to show you how you can actually simplify your VO, how you can actually go ahead and do that. Go ahead, Melissa, go ahead and type in your question. Thank you. Obviously, I can't bring you on audio here on YouTube right now. But if you have a question, Melissa, type in that question. And here's the thing. We have a tendency when we're watching people on YouTube that are in VO that, are quote unquote professionals and doing this full time, obviously you want to take advice, right? Because you don't know. But there are things that pro VOs do at a certain level that can get overcomplicated for the beginner. It doesn't mean that you don't get there or you may want to go there. It just means that to start and to stay in this lane, you don't have to go that deep and overcomplicate the process. I made a YouTube video, I think earlier in the week, showing you a simplified process on how to create your audio. It was like a 6-minute video. And I just walk you through the steps. It's literally crazy that you can have these things and have these simple pieces of gear and all that other stuff and make really, really good audio. Again, I say we're not doing audio for Disney, right? We're not out here doing stuff for Pixar. It's very simple audio production that we need to do. Very simple. And the thing that I see so many times is people overprocessing or overdoing it. And you can hear that, especially if you've been in VO for a while. But I'm telling you, if you simplify your process, it's going to make a difference. Tamisha saying, I do not understand the concept of E. What does that mean? Help me out, Tamisha. I'm not sure what that means. Melissa has a question. All right. Oh, this is a big long one. I got to shorten this down here. All right. So it gets hot in here with all the equipment. Laugh out loud. Are there any quiet fans you've come across to keep cool during the recording process? You know what? I haven't. And in my booth, I don't have any fans. So in the summertime, it is just hot in that booth. So I take breaks, because I literally will start sweating. But then again, oh gosh, I remember when I was like 350 pounds. And yes, I used to weigh 350. Right now I'm sitting at about 215. That was murder on me. One, being that heavy, the booth is only 4x4, the whisper room, and getting in it was a chore as well. And making sure that I wasn't bumping up against, anyway, he didn't ask about how fat I was, but the whole thing about that is booths are hot. Unless you have a really, really professional studio that does all of that stuff. I don't know about any quiet fans. If you find some, let us know about that. Daniel's saying time is money. Take time in the beginning to set up your presets. Will save ton of times in the future. Yes, it most definitely will. There's a lot of stuff that you can do especially in Adobe Audition, to set up presets for everything. Ton of YouTube videos on how to do that as well. Melissa's giving me the laugh out loud signs. Okay, Tamisha's talking about EQ. EQ is something to consider, and it is something definitely to learn. When you're starting out, you want to look at some of the presets that come with your DAW on EQ to see how they sound on your voice. If you took, I would just say 2 or 3 days to just watch a trusted person on YouTube that talks about EQ, you can learn that. But here's the thing. EQ, the simplest thing, I'm going to put it this way. It's treble and bass. Now you've got mids, you've got highs, you've got all that stuff. But to simple it down, it's treble and bass. So when you use kind of like a plugin, like what I use with this one, the Chris Lord Ale or Age, whatever it is, plugin from Waves. This one here is the one, all the way on the left is your input gain. Then after you see the little green, whatever that is, and then you go to the next slider, that's treble, that's bass. Then you have treble, and then the third one is compression. Those 3 buttons will help you easily dial in. Now, if you really need to get fancy, learn a whole bunch of stuff about EQ, but I'm just going to tell you this and be as emphatic as possible. Becoming that level of knowing and understanding EQ is great to learn if you want to learn it. But you start going down rabbit holes when you start over complicating the process of creating very simple audio. It's not that complicated, and it's not that hard. Use the tools that are out there and are available to you to use, for that. One of the trainings that I'm going to be creating, and I'm going to make this available to everyone for free. I'm going to make this training available to everyone for free. I'm going to go through a step-by-step approach and an in-depth process on how to lay your voice down, how to do your editing, how to do your compression, how to do your EQ, how to do all of that, how to do your noise reduction. I'm going to go through an extensive training on this, as well as how to add in music, even where to get royalty-free music from. Stop looking for free stuff for royalty-free. Just stop. Yeah, it's out there, but it sounds like crap. Just stop using free royalty-free. It just does not do you justice, especially if you want to put your best foot forward. And it's not that expensive. I think I pay about $24 a month to have access to some high-end royalty-free music. I mean, this right here, the beat that you're hearing right there, is a royalty-free music that I downloaded. All right, so what's happening? Excuse me. What's happening today? And I told you I would get to why I'll be so busy today. Let's see what Dan has to say. Do you use Canva for everything? And is there a program out there to make one social media concept and then post across all platforms? Posting across all platforms is killing my time. I do use Canva for everything, Dan. I definitely do use Canva for everything. However, I post, when you see me post, which you see how much I post, and I post it, that is me literally posting. That is me with my phone posting, or on my computer. That is me doing it. I mean, posting to me doesn't take that long, but yes, definitely I use Canva for everything that I created. You see this thing that's around my video, right? With the, Earl Hall Studio at the bottom, Steps to VoiceOver Success, that was created in Canva. It's like everything I do was created in Canva. These infographics like this is created in Canva. I do everything in Canva. So hopefully that answers your question in regards to that. Let's say, Tamisha says, this is what I was thinking. Just have good vocal control and know your tendencies. Yeah, most definitely on that. All right. So what am I going to be doing today? All right. So I just put up the graphic for voiceovervoices.biz. If you guys have not been to this website yet, you need to go there, voiceovervoices.biz. What I do is I interview voiceover artists. Daniel was one of the people that I interviewed. Thanks so much for being one of the people that I interviewed, Daniel, for that as well. Or did I interview Daniel? I've started interviewing so many people now. Didn't I interview you, Daniel? Yes, no? I did, didn't I? Anyway, it is me interviewing new and upcoming voiceover artists and having some deep conversations around the gear, the microphones, the audio interfaces, the DAWs, how they got started, with this. We're not talking about the people that have been in for 20 years and are, top 6-figure earners and all that stuff. I believe that talking to folks that are just getting into VO is vital because they have the same questions that we all had at the beginning, and they're going through the same struggles that we all went through in the beginning. And so having these in-depth conversations is amazing. You can go there. All of them are on my YouTube channel. And if you go to voiceovervoices.biz, you can see all of the YouTube interviews. And then what I started doing this week is I'm taking the last question. And my last question that I ask everyone is, if you could ask me anything about VO, what would it be? And I turned that into a podcast because the answers that I'm getting or the questions that I'm getting are big. Go to voiceovervoices.biz. You can see the interviews, but more importantly, you can schedule your interview with me. I literally have 5 interviews today that are going to be going up on that podcast and on that playlist that's on my YouTube channel. There's a playlist on YouTube called Voiceover Voices on my YouTube channel. You can see it because you're on YouTube right now. With that, I want to make sure that I'm talking to brand new voiceover artists and getting right in there with where everyone struggles. That's what we want to bring out in Voiceover Voices. That's what we want to bring out with the podcast. You can help the voiceover community extensively by simply scheduling your interview with me. It's like 15, 20 minutes. They don't go normally longer than that. However, the interview that I did with Storm Waters did go like 30 minutes. And her question at the end was centered around AI. Is AI going to kill the VO? That artificial intelligence voice that people keep talking about now. Oh, that was such a good conversation that we had. So if you didn't see that, it's in the podcast, just that question. And you can see the full interview on the playlist here on my YouTube channel. But I want each and every person. Thank you, Dan. It was my pleasure having you on as well. Definitely. Lance, good morning to you, my friend. You've got your interview coming up next week. Awesome. See, Lance is getting in the mix, right? I had 9 interviews last weekend. I have 5 today. Tomorrow's Father's Day, so we're not doing anything on Father's Day. And then people are already scheduling interviews for next weekend, like Dan himself. Schedule your interview. Help the voiceover community out with what you're dealing with and going through. Tell them how you got started and why. These are important things I think that need to be brought out. So I definitely want to encourage you to do that. Well, I've got interviews coming up at the top of the hour, so I'm going to check out here and I am going to get ready for those interviews. Are you going to book your interview with me? Look, if you're watching me live, thank you so much. Put in #live if you haven't already. And if you're watching the replay, put in comments #replay. Definitely want to see from you and hear from you as well. And if you have further questions about what we talked about today, make sure that you ask those questions in the comments as well. I'm going to be here for you every Saturday, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for the AMA. Ask me anything. You guys have an awesome and amazing Father's Day weekend. See you guys soon.